Data science is like a cool expression nowadays, but I think that the most important part of these two words is science, because if one person is able to explore the data to get new insights for the businesses based on business questions. Let's say we have a problem in our company, we want to solve it. Traditionally we solve it by intuition or by an irrational mode, but nowadays we can do it analytically so that we can see in the data which is the best solution for our problem. From this point of view, data scientist is the person who is able to do this, because they have programming, coding, hacking mind to do this exploratory analysis, and they can create applications and tools based on the data to solve this particular problem. Maybe the solution is not always a big tool, maybe it's only a report, maybe there are only some insights, but in other opportunities you have to make a big tool on this data to make it actionable, so that the use of this tool is far from the data, but they are able to use the data to solve the problem. For those companies that are collecting all the data they are generating, data is a mirror of the bad and good habits and practices inside every company in the world. So they can optimize their processes based on this data. They can reduce expenses and also increase their sales and reduce their costs based on this data. For instance, they can create new services for existing clients, so that these existing clients are more engaged and more loyal to the company because these new services. Finally, those companies that are more innovative based on data, they are creating new products to different clients that are not the traditional clients based on their data. Big companies are the more innovative companies in the world that are trying to improve their processes and their business based on their data. For instance, banks are using their data for a very long time to reduce fraud in card transactions. For instance, they can create algorithms to detect this fraud, or for instance, they can reduce the risk of the loans they give to their customers based on the data and the historical data of the users. Or, as I told before, they are creating new services for retailers based on the data. For instance, in telecommunications, they are using the CDR, the call detail record, stored in the databases to see how people are connected, and then create new variables for every customer in order to try to predict whether a customer is going to adopt a new service or product or not, so that they can optimize the call center for targeting these very likely users or customers. And for instance, in other areas like logistics, they are using their data to predict e-commerce peaks, so that they can reduce or increase their staff based on these peaks of activity in e-commerce, and then they can optimize their costs, because a lot of people there are contractors, so that they are not in the proper staff, so they can modify how many people are going to work for the next week based on the predictions.